Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Smokin' Sous Vide. Okay, what we're going to do today is bacon. Now bacon, we take pork belly. Now these are about 4 pounds each, these pork bellies here. Skin is removed, you can do it with skin on. Doesn't really matter, it's a preference. The recipes I have say to take the skin off anyways, and you can make cracklings out of that. Like these pork bellies, you know, the good fat cap, they're already trimmed, so this one's nice. We're going to do bacon 2 different ways. So in this case, because it's a fairly large pack, we're going to put this in an extra large freezer bag because it doesn't fit in a large. But to start with, we take all the ingredients and we put them in the bag and mix them up. So the first one's going to be just plain bacon. So there's some garlic powder, kosher salt, pink salt, which is a Progue Powder, or curing salt, and then pepper and a little bit of water just to help mix that. And that's going to cure in the fridge for a week. All right, so you know, with this thickness of bacon, 7 days will be good. You can leave it longer if you have a thicker package of bacon or pork belly. But yeah, so let's just do that. We'll just put all these ingredients, and I'll put the amounts in underneath the video. I'll give you the recipe for both these, and I'll do it based on 1 or 2 pounds, and then you can scale it up as need to be. So yeah, it's the pink salt, pepper, garlic powder, and kosher salt, and then you add some water. Now this is enough for 4 pounds, so it doesn't take much. You can see it doesn't fill up much of the bag. I'm going to take that pork belly, just stick them. Just stick that right in the bag. You're going to press most of the air out of the bag, as much as you can. Seal that up. Push the air as you can. And the last little bit, we leave that open. And push it out. And then just stick it up. Make sure that's sealed. And we're going to stick this in the fridge for 7 days. And flip it every day. Right? So that's your basic bacon recipe. No real flavors, and a nice salt cube. The next one we're going to do, and this is one of my family's favorite, is a maple bacon. So with maple bacon, it's still got the primary ingredients of kosher salt, coarse ground black pepper, Progue powder or pink powder, curing salt, and some dark brown sugar in that. We'll just put that in there. Then we're going to take maple syrup. We're going to put all that in. The maple syrup is fairly thick. I like to use a Quebec maple syrup because of the flavor. It's just it's hard to beat that. And you're going to thin that down with some water. Make sure that's mixed up. And then we're going to take this pork belly and stick this one in the bag. So you can see that making the bacon itself, or putting it onto a cure, is actually a very easy process. Now, once it's in for 7 days, we are going to smoke it. And we're going to smoke it just to about 160 degrees or so, just to get that smoke in there and render some of the fat out, but not too much fat rendering. That's what you do after you slice it, once it's ready to cook up for your company or your meal. So that's all there is to it. You might want to get a little bit more out of there. You can just squeeze that as you can. Now, plastic bags leak, especially when things get put on them. So I'm going to put these into a pan first, and then into the fridge, so that if they leak into a pan. Had one leak one time. It was quite a big cleanup. So we're gonna leave that for 7 days, flipping it every day. Then we're gonna smoke it, and I'll show you when we do that, nice and low temperature. Okay, so then after the 7 days, you know, we're in the cure, we're gonna pull it out and smoke it at a nice low temperature. It's gonna get that nice smoke flavor, and we can use apple wood, cherry wood, whatever we want to, and pinch different flavors on this. But I'll show you what that looks like when we come back in 7 days. Okay, well, it's been 7 days that this bacon's been in the fridge. So you can see we've got our regular bacon. We've been turning that every day. So each one's about a 4-pound pork belly. So you can do this multiple ones or just do one at a time if you want. This is our maple bacon. So what we first need to do is rinse all this cure off. So we're going to take this one, run it under the sink just to rinse it, and we're going to throw away any liquid that's in the bag. Give it a quick rinse. And then what we're going to do is just soak that in water for a little bit. Some nice cool water. That'll get that the extra salt out of it. So you don't have a bacon that's too salty. Now this maple one, same thing. We're just going to rinse this out. Throw away any of the liquid. Now this one's kind of sweetened in that with the maple syrup. So the salt's already bounced. But I'm just going to put it in the water just for, you know, a few minutes. I'll take that one out first and let the other one set. So we keep track of which one's what. This one's our maple. That one is our just our regular bacon. So we're going to get the smoker up to 225 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to smoke this very slowly under over indirect heat. You can add a flavored wood if you want, like an apple wood, to the bacon, or hickory, or mesquite. But what we're going to do is cook it until it gets to 150 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature. Then you're going to pull it off and let it cool, and then we're going to slice it, and then you can cook it up like regular store-bought bacon. So, you know, we'll let this cool while we get our smoker up to temperature, and it'll soak and get rid of that extra salt, and then we'll get it out there onto the smoker. I'll show you what happens when we put it on. All right, so the maple bacon I only left in there for about 4 or 5 minutes. We pulled it out and let it sit. And the other bacon I left sitting there for about 20-30 minutes while I was getting the smoker ready. And then just put them out on a rack, let them dry out a little bit. But you don't have to worry about patting them dry too much in that, because smoke adheres better to a wet surface. And I also have some wild black cherry wood. So I'm going to put that on there for some added flavor. Okay, so I've got my smoker stone in there. I'm just going to drop these down the side, one on each side here. Just give it a little extra smoke as it's going. And get rid of that. And I'm going to put the grate on. Alright, so now we're going to set that thing up for a little timer. You can hear my alarm starting to go off already. Alright, so turn that off. I've got 2 alarms just for monitoring the smoker itself. So we're going to put one of them in, move this over a little bit, put that right in over here, and that's going to monitor the upper temperature around that pork. Then we're going to put one down lower over top of the smoker stone. Make sure that it's mounted over top. There, now it's not getting the direct heat. Bring our which is non-maple. I'm going to stick that right on the grill. This one will see a little hotter temperature because of where it's at, but you know, we're going to monitor them separately. And we have 2 probes, one for each. We're going to put that in the thickest part of the pork belly and just run that in there. And then we're going to put this one in the thickest part of this pork belly. And that way we can monitor both porks and the internal temperature of that smoker. So we're going to leave that. It's going to be down around 225 degrees. Like I said, it's a slow smoke, indirect heat. And we're going to monitor that until it gets to 150 degrees internal temperature. Now that's going to be about 1 to 2 hours depending upon the temperature of your smoker. So once these temperatures stabilize, we'll see how they track. I'll try to keep it as close to 225 as possible. But you know, if it goes higher, it'll cook faster. You just want to make sure to get it as much smoke in there as you can, and also to get it to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so I'll show you when it gets closer to temperature. Okay, so both the bacons are just over 150 degrees. So we're just going to open those up now. You can see, nice and kind of jiggly. That's got some smoke to it, but it's not what you call cooked bacon. So I put the meat thermometer in there. Just checking 151, 152, 150, 150 even, bottom one, 160, put it in the battery for 157, yeah, so the lowest temperature in here is 150, which is perfect. So we're going to take those off and put them into a pan to cool. We want to get them into the fridge once they've cooled and let them set. Then we can slice them. So we'll just lift that one up. There. This is about 2 hours that we've had these on, 2.5 hours. I had the temperature go down to 200 degrees, so I had to bump it back up. Yeah, there you go. So you've got that smoked flavor in there, and it's going to just come out really nice. So we're going to leave this on because we have something else going on, but we'll take that into the fridge, chill it, and then we'll slice it and then fry some up. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so the bacon's been in the fridge for a day. So now it's ready to be sliced, and then we can fry it up and cook it like normal bacon. Now, my slicer only handles about that much, so I'm not going to be able to slice this whole thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the direction of the grain of the meat, and we want to slice it this way with the meat slicer. So I'm going to just cut this in half across this way and cut it into slices like that. So there you go. That one's a fairly fatty piece. So I mean, it varies with the pork bellies. I mean, you can take it into a butcher and get it cut. But all right, so we're just going to set this up and just try a few slices. Okay, now that's fairly thick, so you can, if you want it that thick, that's fine. I'm going to go a little bit slow. Okay. So there, you know, it's across the grain with the cutting. You've got some meat in there. You've got a nice consistency to it. So we'll slice this all up and then give it a try. Now, just to give it a try now. I mean, this is fully cooked to 150 degrees at least, so I mean it's edible. The fat's going to have a different texture because it's not crisped up and then cooked and rendered a little bit more like you do when you fry bacon. So I just taste this. The sweetness of the maple syrup just comes through in this, and you know it's not salty, so it's really good. So we're going to slice this one up. As the maple, but let's just, while we're at it, we'll also look at the regular bacon. So again, I want to slice it this way. So I'm going to slice it across, just so I can get into my machine here. Get the maple over there. Let's just cut some slices of this up. Okay. So you can take the outside edges, and I like to just sample with those. So we're just going to take a piece of that. Very good flavor. Salt and pepper comes through. It's not too salty. It's really good bacon. That'll fry up really nice.
Can you taste the cherry wood?
The cherry wood gave it a nice kind of sweetness to it. So you can get hickory, mesquite. You can do oak, cherry, applewood, whatever you prefer. So you can mix it up. I usually prefer a blend of woods, not to overpower with any one. So, what we're going to do next is I'll finish slicing this, and then I'll fry some up, and we'll taste it, okay? So I'll come back once I've got this all sliced up.